I just finished week 7 of The Artist's Way, and I'm drinking my little tea and watching the mailman go by. And I'm gonna do my check in with you, like I've been doing every week. Um, I liked this week. I feel like I think I might have mentioned this before. It's hard for me to look at the camera the whole time I'm doing this, but I'm gonna give it a shot. Um, I feel like I've mentioned this before, but it's almost like I feel like I'm going on a roller coaster now. Like everything's just kind of happening fast. Once I got the confidence and the belief that I could do whatever I really want to do, then things just started kind of happening, and not in the way Julia Cameron describes. So this week I did something that wasn't written down to do. I was curious about what Julia Cameron looked like. So I found a couple of her speeches on YouTube, and the more I heard from her, the more I just wasn't a fan. Honestly, I was like, this sounds a little too much for me. And I get that way about Esther Hicks or Abraham Hicks sometimes too. Where just the way they describe how the universe works feels a little bit too delusional for me. Like the synchronicity she described was to the point where I almost felt like that's great, but that doesn't happen for everybody. It just doesn't. There are people that are starving. There are people that are paycheck to paycheck, and then they get the worst thing that happens to them, and there are people that have their house that burned down, and there's bad things happen. And also just there's a medium ground too. There's a time when you let's say you're a writer and you fire your manager, and you don't find one that you really resonate with for a couple years. That happens. That's okay. You know what I mean? Where I feel like Julia described it like things are just going to come right away. Which brings me back to the last week, where she does agree with me in this way, where things will come to you not as you expect. And that's what I found. So what this book has given me so far, I think, is the confidence to get what I want by trying my own methods. You know what I mean? And sometimes things come really easily, and other times an unexpected door opens, and sometimes sorry, I thought I heard something, but I think it was my overalls in the dryer. But sometimes I just feel at a standstill, and I'm waiting to hear an answer. So I just finished week 7, and week 7 was recovering a sense of connection. The first part was about listening to source. Listen to source instead. This is something I wrote on the side. Listen to source instead of what an imaginary audience might want. For me, as far as songwriting goes, instead of thinking about what an imaginary audience would want to hear, just listen to that inside voice inside that's connected to a higher power. Once you accept, this is Julia Cameron, once you accept that it is natural to create, you can begin to accept the second idea, that the creator will hand you whatever you need for the project. You will hear the dialogue you need, find the right song for the sequence, see the exact paint color you almost had in mind, and so forth. Expect the universe to support your dream, and it will. I love that. The next part was about perfectionism. And one thing she wrote that I underlined was, a painting is never finished. It simply stops going interesting places. So this came into play for me personally this week. I uploaded my EP to DistroKid, and it's set for release in the summertime, but I have plenty of time. I'm working with a manager in the beginning of June. So I wanted to give myself and her a good 2 months to collaborate on promoting the EP. Just getting all of our ducks in a row. And also I'm lining up singles to come out after the EP, because I don't want to have a drought where I'm not releasing music again. So I'm really prepping. And as I uploaded the EP, I listened back to the songs, and there's a million things I want to do different now. And a part of me wanted to hold it longer and work on it longer and redo things. but I can't. I think it's done and it's the best it can be, and it's a snapshot of my life and what I've been going through for the last 4 years, you know? Cowboy Killer and Light Switch are on the EP. And this is like from that time period that's already over for me. So it's time to move on. But reading about the perfectionism really made me think I did the right thing by not working on it anymore, because I can't let it hold me back. It just has to be time. And then the next part was risk. Taking risks despite the fear of embarrassment, despite the fear that, like, oh, my finances aren't there. Well, they're never going to be there. You know, like, not that they'll never be there, but, like, there's never going to be a perfect time to do anything. And that's what people always tell me about having kids. But I applied it to something different. And I just went today to get my passport. I'm doing a couple shows in Atlanta this summer, like in 2 months. I'm doing a couple shows in Atlanta. I have some family out there. Like, my uncle's a musician and my aunt's a musician, and the two of them booked me some shows. I have like three days of doing shows out there this June that I haven't like announced like yet, but I'm getting my passport. It's gonna be my first time on a plane. Do I have the finances to go? No, I'm gonna be broke. Do I feel horrified to go? Yeah, I feel really scared. And like, what if my plane crashes? like I'm nervous. But I also think I just turned 25 on Friday. And I always told myself that I would be the kind of person that travels, that wants to see the world, that crosses things off of her bucket list. And I owe it to my younger self to at least get on a plane. But like, you know what I mean? In my 20s, I want to get on a plane and go somewhere. I haven't been anywhere. I went to Illinois once with my family for a weekend, and then like the tri-state area. I want to give it a go. I want to see what's up with all of this and get on a plane by myself and just explore the world a little bit. And it won't be too crazy. It's still in the US, but that's my risk. And the weather wasn't good enough to skydive this past weekend, so I'm going to go this coming weekend. So I guess that will be my first time on a plane. The next bit was about jealousy and using jealousy as a map. Now, I don't like the way she presented it. She asked, I didn't do this exercise, but she has like phrases here that you're supposed to complete. As a kid, I missed the chance to blank. As a kid, I lacked blank. As a kid, I could have used blank. Like, using all these things that you're, like, kind of jealous of other people's experiences, and then seeing how that's, like, a map to show you what you really want. One thing she does is, like, a who, what, and a who, a why, and an action for jealousy. Like, who, my sister Libby. Why, she has a real art studio. Action, I have to fix my spare room and turn it into an art studio. Using jealousy as an exercise. I actually learned how to do this with the help of therapy in college, because I saw my friend play before she was my friend. The first time I saw her play, my friend Daphne, I got really jealous. And I like freaked out and went to my therapist, like really upset. And my therapist was like, well, what about her is making you jealous? And I was like, well, she's very, like, intuitive and talented and all of these things. And my therapist was like, it sounds like you want somebody like that in your life. It sounds like you want to learn how to be that a little bit for yourself. Sounds like you might want her as a friend. And so I became her friend, and I tried to be more intuitive in my own life, and I love so much about Daphne, but one of the things I really love about her is her ability to, like, stand still and like observe how she feels. I don't know if she really does this, but it seems that way. She seems very like centered. And so I started doing yoga, and I started trying to sit with my feelings more. Naturally, I'm never going to be super in tune with that, I don't think. Maybe one day. I think I'm a little too fiery, but I just love when people are like that. and to appreciate things instead of just like automatically being jealous takes time. But the jealousy stuff, I don't like how she presented. I think there's a better way to present that, for people that haven't had to map their jealousy before. I think listing the things that you lacked as a kid or people you're jealous of is not the best way to do it. I would say, honestly, like, my advice if I was her, I would probably say to, like, watch for the jealous feeling in your daily life, and whenever it comes up, notice it. Don't forget about it. Like, acknowledge it, where it's coming from, who it's about, whatever. And then try to get to the core, and yeah, then ask yourself, why am I jealous? And then obviously you're jealous because they have something you want, but you can give yourself that. You know what I mean? Like I gave myself time to myself to be still and alone time to feel more centered. You know, like there's that. But I think it's cool that she did that. I didn't do the exercise because I was like, I kind of feel like I get this already. Because I'm just that fucking smart. God. I did a couple of the tasks. I collaged. That was my artist date. I bought this magazine, a 1954 magazine, The Country Gentleman. I went to an antique store in Vineland, and I collaged, and I made 4 different collages, but this is my favorite, I think. It says, "Cheer up, little lady." Aww. And I made 3 for above my bed, and then I put 1 in the bathroom that says, "Have fun." And that was cool. So that was my artist date. And for the check-in, how many days this week did I do my morning pages? I did 5 days this week, so better than last week, but still not great. Have I allowed myself to daydream a few creative risks? Yeah, I'd put them into action, Bubba. Like, I think making this trip to Atlanta real is crazy. Like, and the weird thing, okay, actually, I'm gonna get to it. The synchronicity. This is the part that's weird. One of my goals was to get my passport. Not to really go anywhere, but it's been on my list, like, I need to get my passport. Specifically when Trump came into office and everybody had, like, that fear that, like, we need to go somewhere. I was like, well, I don't think I can go anywhere. Like, this is my home. I'm an American. You know, like, I'm gonna stay in America no matter what. You're gonna have to drag me out of this place. But I wanted to get a passport just because I'm 25. Like, I probably should have a passport. So I'm glad I got to check that off my list because of my creative life. And how did my artist date feel? It felt really good. It felt fun. I listened to Emma Chamberlain, and I had my Lindt chocolate bar that I love. And I collaged, and Cowboy collaged with me. And it was good. I want to say there were any issues this week that I consider significant to my recovery. I don't think so. Things have just been chugging along. I got a lot of rest with my birthday weekend, and a lot of excitement too. I got the photos back for my EP, and they're beautiful. They're like so beautiful. Like, there's so much I want to share right now, but I have to wait until like the end of the summer. And I'm also continuing to make music and like get it mixed and mastered to line up. Like, I have music for until like October that I'm planning on releasing, and that's the stuff that's mostly done. I really have the whole of 2025 mapped out, as long as I can get things done on time. So it's going good. I'm feeling kind of tired today, but I think it's because I haven't eaten much besides my leftover birthday cake. So, next week is week 8, recovering a sense of strength, and I am over halfway done. So I will be back next week. Thank you for watching.